Tony is the kind of guy who would absolutely say, it's like, see, most of my friends are black. Isn't this great? I love this guy. I mean, poor,
Rhodey.
Don Cheadle Rhodey.
Yeah.
Although it's funny because they change it to where this is very much Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle comes back and he voices Rhodey Rhodes in this episode.
Yeah, he's been doing it always.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like, nah, man, Don Cheadle. He's just sitting there. Hey, man, I was Tony's first black friend, man. I was with him from the beginning.
Hey everyone, I'm sure you heard by now, Double Toasted is heading out on tour, bringing you a night of comedy, games, and some interaction with the audience out there. Get tickets by going over to doubletoasted.com or going over to X1 Entertainment. Hey, we'll see you soon. Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts.
But yeah, chat, we are talking about what if, like I said, episode 6, what if Killmonger did not kill Whitey? I believe that is the official name of the episode. What if he was friends with Whitey? What if he's like, I think that's kind of cool. I
feel like that's an inaccurate title for this episode.
Well, it's accurate to a degree. I want to lead people into it. I was like, oh, really? Oh, shit. Because he really loves killing white people. He's kind of all about that. So, I was like, oh, that's a good premise.
I think he's just into killing.
All right, fair enough. I mean, honestly, in this episode, yes, because that's one of my points I want to make about
that's
this.
One of those things
thing.
with that name Killmonger. He's all like, I'm here for justice. I was like,
no,
I think you're in it just for the blood, just for the body count.
That and power for yourself. Yeah. your obvious lust for power. Yeah. So, but yeah, for those of you who want to get a preview of this particular episode, Marvel did actually release a cool little teaser, at least for some of this thing. So let's go ahead and look at it, and then we'll get into the kind of nitty-gritty details of it.
Do we know each other?
It appears we have a common enemy.
I guess I have to freestyle
then. But this episode, Chad, this one is focusing on Eric Killmonger. It is focusing on Michael B. Jordan's character, and he is doing the voice of the character. And it's like, I think everyone was really excited for this episode because Killmonger, he's such a popular villain. Mm-hmm. When Black Panther came out, like Marvel for the most part was, I think in the beginning, maybe in the mid portion, they were kind of struggling with their villains overall.
Yeah.
But I think when we started to get things like Spider-Man Homecoming with the Vulture, and then Black Panther with Killmonger, and then Thanos and all these other things. And even, Zemo obviously in Civil War, no doubt about that. And even Kurt Russell's ego in Guardians 2, which I'm not a big fan of the movie, but I like him in that role.
I just like Kurt Russell, but...
Yeah, same, man.
I'm sorry.
I'm right there
I'm not going to derail you.
Listen. You can derail me as much as you want. We can go off on tangents. I don't care. This is the kind of review. I apologize to the editors in advance. But this is what's going to happen with these kind of shows. I love talking about this stuff, this very nerdy thing. So please go ahead and derail me. But Killmonger rose up to be one of the most popular villains in the MCU. People, even though he's most likely dead, people want him back anyway. They love that character.
He's popular enough where, people are hoping or thinking like, well, with Wakandan science, he could still be alive. Yeah. And there's so many people when the movie was done, they're like, Killmonger was right. And they'll say like,
he wanted to kill, not just Whitey, but a lot of people. And he wanted power for himself. But this episode is mainly focused on him.
Yes.
But that's not who I want to start off with.
Okay.
Because this episode starts off with Tony Stark.
Uh-huh.
And this episode reminded me of what an annoying piece of shit Tony is before he became Iron Man. Jesus Christ.
Man, you are not lying. Mm-hmm. It is one of those, like, because, hey, we love Robert Downey Jr. because he's funny.
Of course.
And we've come to love Tony because he's made us laugh.
Yep.
He's done all these things, and he saved the world. He made the ultimate sacrifice. But you go back to this, and you get to revisit it, and you go like, oh, that's right. I can see why everyone else hated him before. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why the government was like, we need to take this technology away from you. Why Obadiah Stane was like, I don't know if I want to keep working under you.
I gotta kill this kid.
Yeah. And this episode really outlines the fact that had he not been captured, what a unsufferable douchebag
Yes.
he would have become.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was just the worst of the worst.
I mean, if you thought that he was bad creating supervillains when he became Iron Man, just imagine if he didn't. There'd be so many more supervillains. And, he creates, let's just say he makes a lot of mistakes in this episode. But it's believable. Like, one of the things that has frustrated me to a degree with Marvel's What If, because I for the most part, I've really liked it. I enjoyed episode 4 the most of Doctor Strange, and I liked episode 3, the What If, the Avengers never formed, and even Marvel Zombies to a degree. But they do feel rushed. They do feel rushed, and that's because of the time limit.
Yeah. I was saying this the other day. It's like they just need 10 more minutes.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah, if it was maybe 45, because this episode's like 30 minutes or something. They've gone over maybe a little over a half hour. But the one of the things I will say that was believable is Tony just oh yeah, I'll do whatever I want. Yeah, Killmonger, you're my guy. You're gonna be my bodyguard. You're gonna be CFO. You're gonna be CEO and shit. Yeah. I bought all of that.
Oh yeah.
That made complete sense because in this What If, where it opens with Tony Stark doing the whole thing, in the Humvee in Afghanistan. It plays exactly how it did in the original movie. He gets attacked, goes out there. We saw in the trailer, Killmonger shows up, yeets the missile away, and saves his life. And that, when we think in the original movie, Tony was humbled and he became Iron Man. Here, he just goes off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's if anything, I want to build even meaner and badder weapons and just give it to those guys that hurt American soldiers.
Yeah.
And Killmonger, that's my guy.
That's my guy.
And that escalation, because that's what he is. He's a man that constantly escalates. He's all about his vices. And speaking of vices, I think that after the whole sequence with him in Afghanistan, Killmonger saves him. I don't think there's a scene where he's not drinking. He's constantly, he constantly has whiskey on ice and is just downing it.
Yeah. He's like Julian from Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
He always has that glass of brown liquor.
Exactly, yeah.
that he never spills, no matter what.
And, I kind of like that because one of my overall criticisms of again, the MCU's handled Tony very well for the most part.
Yeah.
But I did want to see his alcoholism.
Sure.
And Disney's we're not going to get that dark.
Right.
But at least in this one, they gave the opportunity for these creators to delve slightly into his alcoholism more than we've ever seen before, and I really like that. It kind of showed where without that tragic event in Afghanistan, what kind of a pathetic person he is, and how he really needs Happy and Pepper and all these people around him to wrangle him. Because if someone gets in there, and takes advantage of him, it's very easy.
Well, he also, without that humbling, even though he has people to kind of guide him and tell him no, he wasn't listening.
Yeah, never. Not even Pepper. He's even when Pepper talks, he's yeah, I'm hanging out with my new best friend Killmonger.
Yeah,
I love him. Man, there's even a moment in this because I love it because there's a lot of images of them in this episode just hugging out. He's here's my best new black friend.
I know.
Killmonger.
I know.
Tony is the kind of guy who would absolutely say, see, most of my friends are black. Isn't this great? I love this guy. I mean, poor
Rhodey.
Don Cheadle Rhodey. Yeah. Although it's funny because they change it to where this is very much Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle comes back and he voices Rhodey Rhodes in this episode.
Yeah, he's been doing it always.
Yeah, that's right. And it's nah, man, Don Cheadle. He's just sitting there. Hey, man, I was Tony's first black friend, man. I was with him from the beginning. But I just really want to talk about Tony Stark just because it really is. It does a great job of showcasing how different he would have been. And it's one of my favorite aspects of the episode. And I don't know if it's being talked about by a lot of people because everyone's focused on Killmonger. And I understand why, because he's a really cool character. And it's Michael B. Jordan coming back to voice him. But I wanted to give him his moment. And I liked what they did with him. That was one of my favorite aspects. One of the goofier things I kind of enjoyed about this, and it kind of it reaffirmed something that people have been speculating for a long time with Michael B. Jordan's take on Killmonger, and is that the man loves his anime. Absolutely love his anime. We all know that the outfit.
Oh, I never noticed.
Oh, you never
that.
did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was the thing when the movie was coming out. People were making comparisons. Like his outfit looks like Vegeta's from Dragon Ball.
Wait, fajitas, isn't that steak tacos?
Don't say that. You won't piss off the DBZ fans. You know better. Do not bring them down on us. I can't fight them. You know how loud they scream? They'll be here all night. But I like that they kind of reaffirmed where he basically is like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
not only with his outfit, but for one of the things that he is co-creating with Stark, which even Stark's like, is this like a Gundam or is this an Evangelion? I'm like, that was a really cool moment. And I kind of, even though you could tell, I think throughout the episode that Killmonger is like, I like you, but you're annoying me. What do you think of the dynamic between the two of them throughout the episode in general? I know it was rushed a little bit, but overall, what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think it works. I didn't question it at all. And like you said, the way Tony's ego is, and just how impulsive he is.
Yes.
Like I always get the impression that him doing like either with the whiskey or pussy, it's all about him sublimating his ADHD. Which is, what makes him, he uses it. He's a genius and it works for him. But the guy has no attention span whatsoever and goes completely off his impulses. The thing that surprised me the most is that he was so tight with Killmonger for so long. Because usually he's off to onto another thing. Sure. It seemed like it could have been like his pet for the week and then
got bored with it.
Yeah. Ooh, what's that over there?
Yeah.
But no. I mean, you're watching it play out, and there's hope that it won't be what it is, but not a lot.
And I wanted to dovetail off of that because it. I'm not going to say like the after the first half, and we get in the second half. I was kind of hoping for like a really different take on the Killmonger character.
Sure, that was what attracted me to this episode.
Yes.
It's like, oh, well, we can see what happens if his life went a different way.
Yes.
And maybe I've been wrong about him this whole time. And what I learned was watching this episode is like, no, he is a rotten piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he's even worse than I always thought he was.
Yeah.
And the guy has, as far as I'm concerned, no redeeming qualities.
I agree with you because even in the beginning of the episode, this is not a spoiler, but even Uatu is like, yeah, I mean, this is a chance, even though, one hero doesn't exist anymore, but it's a chance for a villain to become a new hero. No. No. I'm telling you that right now. I ain't a spoiler. It's like, no. Uatu, you're a hopeful son of a bitch for someone who's seen this kind of stuff play out for infinity.
I know.
And I think that might be my biggest disappointment overall because there is, like, I agree with you. He's a rotten piece of shit. He's a psychopath. I mean, by the end of Black Panther, he's a psychopath. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. And even if he has, like, I might feel bad for him because he made that really nice speech at the end to T'Challa. But it's like, with this, it's just, I think it was a lost opportunity because people want him. They love this character so much and they want him to be a hero, I think. Yeah. I mean, when Chadwick Boseman passed away, people were like, well, I mean, cool if Killmonger was Black Panther. Sure. People were saying that. And so I was surprised they didn't really go in that direction.
It's almost as if they were telling you, like, stop wishing that. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
I agree with you. I think it's exactly the case. Like, he's not a good person. And what he ends up doing throughout the episode, I do think it's cool how manipulative it is. I mean, he's very much as oh God, what's his name? Bilbo Baggins. Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman's character says. He's not in this episode, but he's the kind of guy. Don Cheadle actually gets Martin Freeman's dialogue, or at least a version of it, where he's like, oh yeah, this guy, he goes behind enemy lines and he infiltrates. I mean, he basically says things that he obviously does. Oh, he goes behind enemy lines and he befriends people and he obviously does bad things afterwards. And it's like, oh, okay, well, it's kind of obvious. That's the one thing I expected to be more surprised, and it really wasn't. Like, he just wants power.
Yeah, I mean, had it been an hour-long episode, I feel like we would have got that.
Yeah, I agree with you. And,
because it did look like it could go that way.
Like all these what-if episodes, some of these I don't think they're going to be just one-offs. I really think they're going
Oh,
to build towards
of
being
course,
a
'cause even in
series.
that trailer, we see Thor talking about zombies, and he wasn't in the zombie episode.
That's right. Yeah, we see evil Doctor Strange like talking with Thor, and they set up where we're going to see this other version of Killmonger in the future. He's still going to be doing things, going to be acting with other characters, and that has me excited. So maybe they can. Maybe it's like, all right, well, I get everything I want. Maybe I want to be a better person. So maybe they can go in that direction, or he'll just be an evil piece of shit still.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he always does irredeemable things.
Yeah.
So what'd you think of Shuri being so much younger in this one?
Oh, I thought that was cool. Well, it makes sense because I want to get into some of the more spoilery things, but I don't want to yet.
Okay, all right.
But no, we can talk about Shuri.
Well,
That's totally
I
fine.
feel like that's not so much of a
No,
spoiler.
it's not.
Like she pops up and she's young.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
Well, it makes sense because of the fact that this takes place in 2008.
Oh, you're right.
And so she would be a kid
yeah,
because
yeah.
isn't she by the events of like Black Panther supposed to be like 18 or 19 years old? And so
Okay.
that's like 10 years. And so she'd be like 8 or 9 or something like that.
Okay.
So I think that's why she's so young.
Okay.
We do see the character of Black Panther and T'Challa. Chadwick Boseman does come back to obviously voice him and everything. I think he provided the voice for T'Challa in all these episodes in season 1. And they do something with him, and I we'll get to it in a bit, but I do like his little speech to Killmonger. It's like, all right, you think this is all worth it? You'll see. We'll see. All right,
see.
cousin. Cuz. So I like that part. But, I mean, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Because those are kind of like my main points of the episode. I mean,
not wanting to spoil things, I don't want to get, it's hard to get really deep into it. There's this trope I keep seeing a lot. We've all seen it. And I guess, most of the time you just blow it off. But now it's come to be one of those things where when it happens, I can't see it. And it just twists my guts where I'm just like,
Okay.
This is, can we put a more, can we get all the writers to come together and say, all right, we're going to stop doing this.
Yeah.
And brought this up before where you're getting to a fight scene where a character is going, all right, now I'm going to kill you. And instead of killing that person, they pick them up and toss them across the room.
Yes.
A couple times, giving them ample chance to pull a weapon or do something to turn the tide.
Right.
Where it's like, you had that, look, if you're going to do a thing, just fucking do it and it's go on.
Yeah.
Because in any fight, like say you're going to have a fight between two people.
Right.
And you think you know who's going to win. You actually don't.
Yeah.
Because even the person who's the favorite could get caught by a lucky shot.
Sure.
Or the other, or just this person who seems like they got no chance. They get in there. It's a punch to the throat. It's a knee. It's a crack to the jaw. The right uppercut, a hit on the nose, a lucky shot, and the other person's down.
Yeah.
And if you fight, you know that. So you end it quickly as possible,
Sure.
whatever it takes. So that whole I'm gonna destroy you. Toss. Also, there's this thing, because it was two things. It was like, who is it that designs robots where their vulnerable point is the brain and the heart?
I mean, that's where we have our things.
Yeah. Because
No, I
we're
know. It doesn't make
human,
any sense.
But it doesn't make any sense that would be the thing where all you got to do is stab a robot in the head and it goes down.
That's a really good point because honestly, you want to put in a because as humans, we were like, we always go for the head, always go for the heart.
Yeah.
But if you're building something, it's like let's put it in some place you wouldn't even expect.
Yeah.
Like let's put it like in its kneecap or something. I don't know, like whatever it can be, like a weak point, a place in the body or within its design that you wouldn't even think to shoot first.
Right. Right. There's no reason to design it in that way.
I feel like our culture, and whether it comes to film or television, that is just something that has been done over and over and over and over and over again. That now people don't even think about that. They're like, well, of course, if you hit the head, it's going to destroy. I mean, that's why you got to build it. And they don't even consider it. That's a great point.
I think it's more of the writers going, we need a way for our heroes to dispatch these things. It's like in the first Avengers movie with the Chitauri.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we kill this thing and all these things just fall out dead. And it's like, and I think Joss Whedon even admitted, it's like, we just need to get rid of him.
Yeah, he stole it from episode 1 with the battle droid. Just blow up the big donut and the droids die.
Yeah,
that's exactly how
like,
it is.
Who would design their force that way?
It's a big flaw. It's a consistently big flaw. That's a good point, and I think part of it is just like we got to wrap this up.
I know.
We got a half
I
hour, a little over, and that's it. So, but no, those are good points. Those are good criticisms. I mean, overall, I guess I don't know if you've been doing like DT ratings for episode per episode.
Have we?
I don't know. You want to do like wait for the season or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's been less of a rating and okay, this is the ranking of my favorites, but I haven't figured out where this one goes.
Okay.
In it.
I think for me, oh God, it's hard. Like Doctor Strange episode 4 is still my number one. I really like that episode, and I would say after that episode 3 for me, and then I would put this one.
Okay.
And then I would put this one, and then maybe like the zombie one. You know?
Okay.
And then the other two are kind of like always back and forth with me. I wasn't a big fan of 1 or 2.
I love 2.
No, I know.
2 is my favorite.
Everyone does. Everyone is saying like episode 2 is one of the best episodes, and it's like, yeah, I get it. I mean, just the
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's why I'm reluctant to rank them because one, we got other episodes coming.
True.
But also, like just even hearing you say that, I feel like you could go back and rewatch these and go, oh, you know what? I actually like 2 a lot better than I did before.
Yeah.
And I feel like I might do that with some.
No, I definitely will. I'll go back and just watch them one after the other, and just kind of reassess because it has been like, several weeks since I watched it. At this point,
Yeah.
5, 6 weeks, so over a month at this point. So
it's hard to really. All right, this one over this one.
With the first season, I think with any show, really, they're working out the kinks. They're seeing what works. People respond to, and they go, okay. And you would think season 2 or 3 would be even better. It's like, okay, now we know what people want. Now we can really deliver. So yeah, but so far, like I have been enjoying it. I mean, it gave me shitty, scared, pussy, whiskey hungry Tony Stark again. So you have that. So
it makes me think of the Tony Stark that we are used to.
Yeah.
Where there's times when I complain about him. It's
of course.
Like, man, you're creating villains. And you're kind of, you're taking
endangering a child.
Yes. You're kind of taking on the father figure role for this child, and yet you're abandoning him.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow. He's still so much better than what we could have had.
Yes.
He's doing the best he can.
And that's why I was like, all right, that's fair enough. What if you proved yourself? You proved yourself. Thank God for the Tony Stark that we had. And he did make and I love him. They had that montage, the sacrifice. I was like, good. I'm glad they reminded us. Just to say like, hey, this is a much better version. So I totally agree with you. Good point.